Hey everybody, Shu here. Well, after 1 year, I figured I'd do a review on this. This is the RYI2300 Ryobi Generator. It's 2300 starting watts, 1800 watts running power. And even after a year, I am so glad that I bought this. We were just in Shenandoah National Park. You can check out the videos up in the little link. But when we had this running, our neighbors 2 campsites over from us didn't even know that we had a generator running. That shows how quiet this thing is. Even after a year later, this still starts on either the first or second pull from cold start, which I'll demonstrate that here in just a minute. If you haven't seen the original video, I'll also put a link to that up in the little corner here, so you can see what it looks like when it first came out of the box. Now I'm going to open up the engine compartment so you can see just how clean this thing stays. As you can tell, this stays very, very, very clean, and I like the way that they set this up so that you have access to your carburetor. So if you want to drain your fuel, you still can. Your air filter is located right below it, and you can change your oil all on the same side of the engine. Same as setting your valves. If you need to reset your valves or just do basic tune-up, your spark plug is located right above the valve cover. So if you pull the valve cover off, it'll give you better access to your spark plug. So put together, this is really nice. And we have used this in some dusty areas, and it still looks brand new, just like it did the day it came out of the box. It comes with 2 20 amp 120 volt ACs. If you're running a parallel to a second generator, you can run it off of these plugs here. You just have to buy a separate adapter for that. They have the neutral grounding where you can attach a wire from here to an earth ground, gives you better protection. Built-in circuit breaker for your 120 volt system. Overspeed reset, I still have not needed to use the circuit breaker nor the overspeed reset. It has an auto idle, so you can manually make this rev up or stay at idle. If it's in auto mode, more power you need, more this will spin up. And of course you have USB 2.1 amp plug, so you can plug your cell phone, tablet, almost anything that's USB powered, you can plug it in here and it'll charge. The display will show you not only your fuel, but also your load. And it'll display how much time you have left of fuel based on your load. This is also visible on a Ryobi app that you can download for your phone for free, where you can actually control this generator via your phone. You can see the hours that's been ran. It's the only thing you can't see on this display is the hours. But you can remote shut it down, but you have to manually start it up, which that's fine with me. See how many pulls it takes to start this. If you haven't started this and it hasn't ran for a while, you're going to need to put it on cold start, which is actually the choke. You just rotate your dial to choke. It might take 1 or 2 pulls. In our case, 1 pull. You can see it's stroking around this because it's in choke. Put it into run, restart. And there you go. Even standing right next to this, you can still have a conversation with somebody. You don't have to talk too loud. It says 10 hours and 18 minutes left remaining on just over half a tank of fuel. So this is very economical. But of course, more load you put, less time you're going to get. To shut it down, you can either use the phone app or you just rotate the dial to off storage. And it shuts it right down. Once the unit is warmed up, if it's running for more than 5 minutes, you can use the restart. But if it hasn't been more than 5 minutes, then you're going to want to use the cold start to start it back up. The nice thing about this unit is it takes standard or premium, you can name brand, 10W30 motor oil. It's only 12 ounces, so a quart can go quite a while. The spark plug is easy to access, same with the valves. All the maintenance can be done just by removing the door panel. As far as the gas tank goes, the gas tank has an automatic vent valve that will release any pressure that's in the engine or in the fuel tank. Me and myself, I use what they call True Fuel. It's ethanol-free fuel. It's a little on the expensive side, but you can put your fuel in here, top this thing off, put it into storage, and not worry about it at all. So if a storm comes up, you're not sitting there freaking out, trying to figure out why it ain't starting, because your fuel goes bad within about 30 days. Fuel starts turning into a varnish. With the ethanol-free True Fuels, it will not varnish. And it starts, even after we went from August till May, never started it, not one time, which is bad for generators because the fuel. But with this True Fuel, it started it up within the first 2 pulls. So I love this thing. If you have one, I'm pretty sure you like it too, as long as you're taking proper maintenance of it. As far as proper maintenance goes, your spark plug should be inspected at least about the 50-hour mark and replace it at about the 100-hour mark. Your oil, when you buy this, you're going to need to change the oil at around 20 hours. That just removes anything from the factory that might have been still in there, like very fine shavings or anything like that. Removes that out. The fuel filter, you might want to look at changing that, or at least inspecting it at the 100-hour mark. If you're using True Fuel, you can go a lot longer on anything fuel based. And as a bonus here, on the bottom of your carburetor, you have this one little screw that has a little tube coming off of it. If you pull this tube out, put it on the outside of your unit, have a little cup or something to put underneath this, because you don't want this to spill on the ground. You can loosen up this screw. If you have any bad fuel that's in your carburetor, it will drain out there. That's the cause of about 90% of the no starts on generators, is because there is either water, because people's using standard automotive fuels that has ethanol in it and it collects the moisture, or the fuel is starting to varnish, which becomes non-flammable. So you can pull start, it ain't going to start. But if you just drain a little bit of the fuel out of the carburetor until it starts looking a little clearer or looking like normal fuel, then your engine should crank right up for you. Just a little added plus there. Just remember to always put your tube back in on the inside before you put your panel back on. Now I have all of the electrical in the van for the AC side turned on, so I'm going to crank up the generator. I'm going to let it run for a few minutes, and then once it's warmed up, I'm going to plug the entire van with all the load that I have into this, so you can see how the hours and the fuel and the time and all that works under the load. Alright, you'll notice that it went from 10 hours and 20 something minutes of runtime left down to 8, down to 6. That's because I turned the battery charger on, and I turned the refrigerator on, turned the fans on, TV on, everything AC. I put full load that I could into this, and I do believe it probably went just below half capacity of the electrical output, but it still ran like a champ. And as soon as the battery charger noticed the batteries are full, it dropped off, so it went back up some. The refrigerator was satisfied, so it went back up some. The solar panels keep everything charged. Everything in this van can run off of those solar panels and the batteries. So this is great. So if you have solar panels and you have too much clouds for too long, your solar panels are going to be not very helpful. Your batteries are going to start draining. This will be able to run everything inside. So this completes the 1-year review, and if I needed a second one, I would definitely get another one of these. If you found the video helpful, if you could just hit the thumbs up down there somewhere, that'd be muchly appreciated. If you're new to the channel, why not consider hitting that subscribe button there? And if you want to see more videos, you can check out the playlist, or you can see our latest video that we put out. So until next time, y'all be safe out there.